Narrator. It all started on June 25, 2026. Narrator. On that day, Apple did something it never does. Narrator. It raised its prices. Narrator. Not for a new iPhone. Narrator. Not for a shiny new watch. Narrator. No, this was in the middle of the year for no good reason. Narrator. A MacBook Air suddenly cost 18% more. Narrator. An iPad Pro was 20% more expensive. Narrator. And the Apple TV jumped a massive 54%. Narrator. People were confused. Narrator. Apple is the king of making money. Narrator. They don't just raise prices for fun. Narrator. So when reporters asked why, the company gave a very strange answer. Narrator. They said, "We have never seen a component price increase this much, this quickly." Narrator. That little sentence was a big deal. Narrator. It was a crack in the window of the global tech economy. Narrator. The component they were talking about was a tiny memory chip. Narrator. And the reason that chip got so expensive was because of a silent war being fought in factories and boardrooms thousands of miles away. Narrator. It was a war for a resource more valuable than gold, at least for a moment. Narrator. It was a war for the building blocks of artificial intelligence. To understand what happened in June 2026, you have to follow the money. And there is a lot of money. Let's put it in perspective. In 2020, before the world went completely crazy for ChatGPT, the four biggest US tech companies spent a combined $90 billion on what they call capital expenditure, or CAPEX. That's a fancy term for building stuff, data centers, servers, physical hardware. Now watch how that number grows. In 2023, it was $147 billion. By 2025, it ballooned to $410 billion. And in 2026, the year the prices went up, it hit an unbelievable $725 billion. That is an 8-fold increase in just 6 years. This isn't just a little extra spending. This is a fire hose of cash aimed at one single idea: artificial intelligence. These companies are betting their entire future, and a good chunk of their present cash flow, on the idea that the world will need an almost infinite amount of AI processing power. They are building the digital equivalent of entire cities, filled with powerful computers. To really get what's going on, you need a simple mental model. Forget all the complicated tech talk for a second. Think about your phone. When you ask ChatGPT a question, your phone isn't doing the thinking. Your phone is basically just a screen with a Wi-Fi connection. It sends your question out into the world, and the answer comes back. But where does the thinking actually happen? It happens in a place called a data center. And an AI data center is not like the little server room in your office. It's something else entirely. Imagine a giant windowless warehouse, the size of several football fields. Inside, there are no people, just rows and rows of tall metal racks. Each rack is filled with thousands of computer chips, NVIDIA GPUs. These are the brains of the operation. A single one of these buildings can hold 100,000 GPUs. Each GPU costs between $30,000 and $40,000. So just the chips in one building can be worth $3 to $4 billion. So we have these massive companies spending money like it's going out of style. They're dropping $725 billion a year on these AI warehouses. Where is the money coming back in? A business isn't a charity. You expect to make it back, and then some. This gets interesting, and a little scary. The AI industry is spending a fortune, but earning only a fraction back. OpenAI, about $25 billion a year. Anthropic, similar. All major AI model companies, about $75 billion a year. $725 billion spent to make $75 billion. For every $1 the industry earns, big tech is spending $9 or $10. That's a massive gap. JP Morgan ran the numbers. To get a basic 10% return, the industry needs about $650 billion in new revenue every year. Today, it's $75 billion. The hope? Enterprises will. Banks, hospitals, coffee shops. They would pay enough to cover $725 billion. And then some. That was the story everyone believed. It was the foundation of the bet. But in June 2026, cracks appeared. A perfect example came from a startup founder in San Francisco. His small company, Lindy, was using a popular AI model from Anthropic. He revealed in an interview that his team was spending more on their AI bill than on their entire employee payroll. He switched to a cheaper, less-known AI model from a company called DeepSeek. His costs dropped by 90%. The CTO of Uber admitted publicly their team had blown through their entire annual AI budget in just 4 months. Alex Karp put it bluntly. Clients felt like they were paying for tokens that created no value. Now, you might be thinking, this is all very interesting, but it sounds like a problem for rich tech billionaires. What does this have to do with me? Well, remember that Apple price hike? That was just the beginning. The AI spending boom was creating ripples across the global economy. Let's go to South Korea, to a Samsung factory. This factory makes DRAM. It goes into laptops, smartphones, Xbox consoles, smart washing machines. In 2024, Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron, they had a choice. Or make and sell high-bandwidth memory, HBM, or to AI data centers. Guess which paid more? AI data centers paid 10 times more. So chip makers did what businesses do. They shifted production. Up to 93% of new capacity went to HBM for AI giants. That created a massive shortage of regular memory. Prices went through the roof. One type of PC memory rose 400% in less than a year. The CEO of Dell, DRAM cost went from 43 cents to $2.39 per gigabyte in 6 months. That's a 5.5 times increase. This is why Apple had to raise its prices. Even the richest, most efficient companies couldn't absorb the cost. You were paying the AI tax. This whole situation, massive spending, wild stock prices, a belief in a technology that will change the world, it all feels new. But it isn't. We have seen this exact pattern before, in the dot-com bubble and the fiber build-out. The similarities are almost spooky. Narrator. So, where does that leave us today, on August 8th, 2026? Narrator. It feels like we are standing at a crossroads. Narrator. The AI boom has hit its first major speed bump. Narrator. And the future could go in a couple of very different directions. Narrator. No one has a crystal ball, but we can see the outlines of 2 possible paths. Narrator. Path 1 is the classic bubble pop. Narrator. In this scenario, the enterprise customers don't come back. The $600 billion question is never answered. Narrator. Investors get spooked, the money dries up, and the big tech companies slam the brakes on their $725 billion spending spree. AI-related stocks would plummet. Jobs would be lost. Narrator. The AI dream would be put on ice for a few years. Narrator. Path 2 is that the bubble doesn't pop. Instead, it consolidates. Narrator. In this version, the giants use profits from elsewhere to power through. They keep spending. They keep building. Narrator. But to justify the cost, they have to make AI profitable. And how do you do that? You raise prices. Narrator. Token costs would shoot up. Cheap and free AI tools would disappear. Narrator. AI would become a luxury tool used at scale by the biggest and richest. Narrator. The technology is real. Leaders from NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, and xAI have pushed astonishing progress. GPUs, GPT, Gemini, Grok, Anthropic toward AGI. Narrator. But seasoned voices warn of bubbles when price outruns reality. Narrator. The uncomfortable truth. It might be both a great bet and a bubble. Narrator. The events of June 2026 were just the end of the beginning. We should be curious but cautious. We should be excited about the possibilities of AI but skeptical of the hype. When a company tells you AI will solve all your problems, ask them to show you the ROI. When you see a stock going to the moon, remember that gravity always wins in the end. The events of June 2026 were not the end of the AI story. They were just the end of the beginning. It was the moment the world started asking the hard questions. And the answers to those questions will define the next decade of technology, business, and our daily lives. So, pop or consolidate, open or walled, bubble or bet. The truth is in the numbers, and in the choices we make next. Thanks for watching. If this helped you see the bigger picture, like and subscribe for more clear, simple breakdowns of complex tech.